Everyone and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, where as I am getting started, a kitty is climbing onto the armrest of my chair to cuddle. Oh, and he's decided to leave. Okay, never mind that. I guess we're not going to have a cat interruption. Today we are starting out with our minion roulette, giving us the Penguin from the Fall Guys. I almost called it Fall Out Guys? No, that's a band mixed with Fall Guys. Yeah, we've got our Penguin from Fall Guys as our minion for today, and today we are taking care of a optional dungeon, the level 51 dungeon for Heavensward. Now, real quick before we get started, I want to go over how dungeons work from here on. From Heavensward onwards, the dungeons and trials in Final Fantasy XIV follow a very, very predictable pattern. That is to say, when you are in the main story of an expansion, there is a dungeon with every odd level. For example, for Heavensward, there will be a dungeon at level 51, 53, 55, 57, 59. Then, there will be a finale dungeon at the level cap for that expansion, so in this case, level 60. Then, also with the base expansion, there will be 2 optional dungeons. After that, with each patch, there will be one new dungeon, or each major patch, there will be one new dungeon, so a new dungeon in patch 3.1 and 3.2 and 3.3, etc., and then possibly one or more additional dungeons which are hard versions or revisited variants of prior dungeons. And there's a very predictable formula to how they distribute dungeons. It's actually very nice. I like that they do it like this. I like the predictability. It lets me know what to expect, and it lets them know what to expect when they're actually developing things so they can, assign their development resources in a consistent and appropriate way. As for the trials, there's always going to be 3 trials in the base story of any expansion. Typically, there's going to be a trial at the 3rd level, and then a second trial somewhere between there and the end game, and then one final trial at the level cap, in this case at level 60, to be the final boss of the expansion. And then after that, there's a new trial, not in the 0.1 patch, but one new trial for every patch from 0.2 to 0.5. So 3.2, 3.3, 3.4, and 3.5 will all have a new trial. Is generally how it's structured. I believe I remembering this correctly. Yes, I am. So yeah, no, very predictable distribution of content, how they do it from here on, which is really, really nice, and I really like that. I like predictability. I'm autistic. I like routines. I love predictability. I love when things follow rules, and the fact that they have rules for how they distribute things is really nice to me. That second trial, I kind of skimmed over when in the main story it'll occur. Some expansions, it occurs at the 7th level, so if that is in Heavensward, for example, it would occur at level 57. But also other expansions, it occurs at the 9th level, so if that were in Heavensward, it'd be at level 59. But it's either the 7th or the 9th level, somewhere in there, is when that second trial will take place. I don't consider this spoilers because that's just kind of a structural thing for how they do the game in general. You can very reliably predict that for any expansion, that's kind of how the structure is going to go, because that's how the structure is going to go. So that's not really story details at all, that's just how they do things. But yeah, no, that's kind of what you can expect from here on. But yeah, level 51 dungeon is today. I'm in my armor, so we are ready to go and ready to fight. Okay, good. It's not flickering like the other sword. It is flashing a little bit, but it's not too bad. Wildtheow over here at the Convictory is going to have the quest that leads to our dungeon. The dead care not for justice, but Wildtheow would see them have it just the same. Cowards all of you, have you no shame at all? Oh, I beg your... Wait, are you not Mr. Slonsy? Honored ward of House Fortam, praise Helone, surely you will consider my request. Know you the Dusk Vigil, westernmost of the Citadel watchtowers built to warn of the Horde's approach? 'Twas lost following the calamity, another victim of the snows. Within the ruins lies a priceless treasure which must needs be reclaimed. I thought to enlist the services of these so-called dragon slayers, but it seems their courage is not as boundless as they would have you believe. But you, madam, you are not one to shy away from danger, am I right? I can certainly handle it. Very good indeed. There is a sculpture of the Fury within the Dusk Vigil's chapel. An ice rondel is set in its helm. I would have you prize it free and deliver it to me. The Vigil is not difficult to find. Simply head north towards Banepool until you come to the gates. Knights may bar your passage, but should you explain who you are, they will grant you leave to enter. Alright, so into the Dusk Vigil in order to find this. What did you say it was? It was in a sculpture, an ice rondel set in its helm. One moment. First, I gotta kill this polar bear, but also, no, not the chat log. I'm trying to draw my weapon. I need to fix that. Get rid of the polar bear, and then I have a little bit of an issue. The cats have decided that my computer's exhaust fan is a wonderful place to lay down to get some nice heat. As you can imagine, this is dangerous for the computer. Okay. Just had to move him real quick. Hopefully he doesn't hop back up. I am so sorry to the kitty. But, I can't have you destroying my computer. It's very impolite. Oh god! Oh no! Okay, we're fine. I could have gone around to the left and not fallen, but I suppose this is fine. Alright, so Dusk Vigil is just up there. Ah! Yeah, no, that is a very distinctive sight, actually. Alright, and I believe my party, or at least most of my party, should already be waiting there. Oh, okay. Fine, I'll fight the Archaeornis, only because it is attacking me and it's on my hunt log. But we're almost at the Dusk Vigil. It's just out in the middle of this frozen lake. Wonderful. Okay, good. The stun worked. And let's keep moving. Oh, hello, Nightmare. Wait, yes, that's Nightmare. All the other horses have white fur or white skin. Alright, where are you, Knight? There you are, and there's most of my party. We'll have to find out where the last person is in a moment. What's this? A ward of House Fortam wishes to enter the Dusk Vigil? You are aware that the ruins are infested with wild beasts and gods only know what else, are you not? Why, just the other day, one of the convictors claimed to have seen a massive winged beast. Not a dragon, mind, but something altogether different. But far be it from me to deny an esteemed personage the opportunity to kill herself in new and exciting ways. Pray go on ahead. Oh, you're very excited about the possibility of me dying. Alright then, I'll be back in just a moment once our party is together. And I'm going to be doing post-commentary for the dungeon because I'm going to be in voice chat with my party for this one. So, I'll see everyone in a little bit once we have our full group. Alright, we are back with our group. This is post-commentary, and we are ready to take on the Dusk Vigil on Mine difficulty. And being, of course, in voice chat with my group is going to make this a lot easier. Alright, let's set up our settings and read over the description. In the days following the calamity, Western Kurthus was abandoned by the Knights of Ishgard, save for the Dusk Vigil, whose defenders refused to withdraw. Since then, the fortress has only fallen further into disrepair, and her garrison has long since been presumed dead. Unlike most Ishgardians, who would sooner put the tragic episode behind them, Father Wildthea would have you enter the Forsaken Fortress and reclaim a priceless treasure, an ice rondel set in the helm of a sculpture within the Vigil's chapel. A simple request perhaps, but if her experience has taught you anything, such tasks are anything but. Alright, in just a moment we'll hop in. Let's do this. This is an extremely stormy dungeon. Also, we immediately learned something as we started in this dungeon. Well, we didn't realize it at first, but our healer, Ashy, tried to apply Cardion to me while I was still in cutscene. Turns out, that doesn't work. We don't notice this until about the middle of the first pull. Alright, so getting started, we've got some falcons and a Zoblin. What What do Zoblins carry, actually? Zircon? And yeah, because there was no Cardion right away, they were not able to keep up with the damage. And we got absolutely pounded. But yeah, we realized later in rewatching the footage exactly what happened. Cardion doesn't apply to people who are still in cutscene, unfortunately, which is a weird quirk, but sure, whatever. I don't believe we have any other deaths for the rest of the dungeon, thankfully. It's not particularly difficult, though there are a few bosses with some interesting mechanics you want to watch out for. Well, hello there. Big ol' Mylodon. I want to say that this dungeon used to be an explorable area back in 1.0 as just part of the overworld. But of course it is now just a dungeon in Heavensward. Also, hello Griffin flying away. Alright, since it is a mine dungeon, we're just taking it slowly, one pack at a time, just to stay safe. Hypothetically, at a little bit higher level, once healers have more abilities in general, it should be viable to do multi-pack pulls on mine dungeons, but it's still going to be rather risky and rather dangerous. I think I forgot to take a food buff into this dungeon. Would have been a nice idea. A little bit extra experience, and the extra stats, especially Vitality, would have been really helpful, but the dungeon overall, not a big problem. Alright, down goes the Mylodon. And off we go to our next target. Just kind of tracing the outer walls of this stronghold, and there's a damaged winch up ahead. But first, enemies. It also doesn't help that Dark Knight is, for a good while, one of the more fragile tanks in the game. Eventually it catches up with the other tanks in terms of being able to survive strong attacks, but it is a rather squishy tank for a good while until it learns a particular ability. So that's putting a little bit of extra stress on our healer as well. Alright, killing that Mylodon will give us a cold steel lever, which Amanda beat me to. And with that, we can repair the damaged winch and head on into the stronghold, starting off with our first boss, the Towering Oliphant, which has a mechanic that most people aren't aware of. This boss can be really irritating for a lot of people because it's got a really annoying ability. So you can see Jera is being targeted with a prey marker there, and the Oliphant stuns and knocks Jera to the ground. Something that you can do if you are the tank is get between whoever's been targeted and the Towering Oliphant, and you can take half of the damage. It is effectively a stack marker, a wild charge style stack marker, whoever is standing in front is going to take the bulk of the damage. So whenever somebody gets stunned like this, and especially Rout is about to be used, the tank should hop in front of the boss and between them and whoever's been stunned and take half of the damage. But yeah, this boss can be really irritating just because that stun lasts a long time. You are stuck there, not able to do anything until it's done. And he's flung you up into the air. For some reason, the boss really liked targeting Jera. But there's not too many mechanics to worry about, mostly just blocking that route so it doesn't do as much damage to the victim, and slowly whittling its health down. Also, be sure to get out of the big AoE when it happens. It's not too common, but it's a really big AoE, so you gotta move fast. And looking at my notes, it looks like only Rout, the only ability that you can really share the damage on is Rout, which is the big charge attack that results in characters being flung into the air. Alright, first boss down. Now we can head into the rest of the dungeon and the actual Dusk Vigil. Starting off, we've got some zombies in the area. A frostbitten chirurgeon and a frostbitten archer. Might be a good idea to focus on the chirurgeon first, since it is going to be able to heal its allies. And up ahead we've got a fading soul and a torn journal page. We'll have to read that in just a moment once the soul is dead. To whoever reads this, if there is anyone left to read it, let it be known that I, Sir Pascalare Nurtail, bore witness to the Dalamud's fall, the Lesser Moon's descent, the black doom which emerged from within, the flames which spread across the horizon, turning night to day. It shall haunt me for the rest of my days. It is the dawn of the 7th Umbral Era, according to some of the men. I told them to put no stock in the ravings of the prophetess, but even I do not know what to believe anymore. My friends, commented on while we were doing this, since I had to read out the journal page during the voice chat in order to help pace that out. They commented on it was weird to hear my narrator voice in person. The engineers are still surveying the damage. Oh dear, we're under attack. Okay, we'll read that afterwards. We got zombies waking up. But yeah, friends thought it was very interesting to actually hear my narrator voice in person over the voice chat rather than in videos. A few of them got disoriented and thought they were watching one of my videos for a moment. That was fun. That was really fun. The engineers are still surveying the damage, but anyone with eyes can tell that the Dusk Vigil is beyond repair. Some walls are hardly fit to be called as such, piles of crumbling masonry as they are. The officers have been pleading with Sir Yuhelmeric, asking him to order a withdrawal. He knows our position is untenable, yet he refuses. We will hold it to the last, for we are the shields on the wall, the defenders of the Holy See, he says. He is a brave, pious man. Less so, we who serve under him. Alright. Let's go ahead and check out these various rooms. I don't see much in here, but I am very disturbed by the glowing blue corpses on the wall, including this one over here. Oh dear. Why is everyone here a zombie is something I would very much love to know. Because there are a lot of them. Just glowing blue corpses all over the place. It's upsetting. We got a treasure coffer in this room. All of the dungeon loot here is going to be item level 120, not quite up to the maximum you can get in A Realm Reborn, but getting closer. So soon we'll be able to start getting gear that is actually an improvement over our Dreadworm gear. Alright, more zombies to deal with. Frostbitten officer, and it looks like there's a whole bunch more coming, so oh dear, here they come. Here comes the zombies. It's the damn zombie apocalypse in here. What the hell happened? Last one you kill is gonna drop a barracks key, I believe. I believe it's the last one you kill. And there's a torn journal page over here. The men we rescued from the collapsed wing have not fared well. Given our dwindling supplies and the seemingly endless blizzard, we may be forced to make difficult decisions soon. This unseasonable weather grows worse with every passing day, and the toll it has taken on morale is plain. We have yet to receive reinforcements from the Holy See, and I fear none shall come. Nevertheless, Sir Yuhelmeric remains steadfast in his decision and will suffer no talk of withdrawal. Sir Yuhelmeric's steward tells me he passes hours in the chapel praying to the Fury for guidance, but I chanced to see him once as he knelt before the statue. His eyes were transfixed upon the jewel in its helm, and he was whispering things I dare not write. That's concerning. Very concerning. What? What the heck was Sir Yuhelmeric up to? And another journal page. Can't wait to find out what that says. We got zombie wolves too? I don't like this place at all. It's unnerving. Alright, next page. Sir Yuhelmeric has taken me into his confidence. He says I am an honest man. I wish I were a braver one. The mutiny has been quelled. Among the starving half-mad knights were Sir Yuhelmeric's most trusted officers. He wielded the axe himself. Sir Yuhelmeric received me in the chapel afterwards. I told him we will not last a fortnight without food. He smiled and told me that the Fury has blessed us with a bounty of fresh meat, then returned to his prayers. I joined him. Oh god! Oh no! Do you see where it's going? Do you see what may have happened here in this Dusk Vigil? Ooh, bad. Ooh, I got chills. That's upsetting. It'll become very obvious if you haven't figured it out already in the next journal page. Alright, take care of those zombies. And more are waking up. There are so damn many of them. And they're all over the place. It's kind of hard to actually... Oh my god, that was fast. Holy shit, did you see the Frostbitten Sentry zoom? Oh yeah, they're all over the place. It's a little hard to keep track of them all. Alright, last one drops a key, and let's check that page. Oh, Helone, pray forgive your humble servant. For too long have I let fear rule my heart, and in my cowardice have I been party to unspeakable acts. I know now I shall never see my children again, nor would I want them to look upon their father's face in what it has become. I am outside her grace. Oh, I'm surprised it didn't say it outright. So, if it isn't obvious, they killed everyone who mutinied and then ate them. Cannibalism! And then the cannibals became zombies. Horrible. Anyways, second boss, let's put down the bastard. Sir Yuhelmeric, it's time for you to die. Not too many mechanics with this fight. As we go through, Sir Yuhelmeric will summon various adds. The casters in particular will cast a buff around themselves on everyone nearby. So it is a good idea to pull Sir Yuhelmeric away from any of the casters who res. And then just generally, it's a pretty simple fight. You're just killing Sir Yuhelmeric and also dealing with a ton of adds at the same time. The casters in particular are high priority because I believe many of them, if not all of them, are conjurers or chirurgeons, so they are able to heal. The main thing, though, is making sure that buff does not end up on Sir Yuhelmeric. Yeah, that's about the radius of the buff. Thankfully, it looks like it didn't quite hit Sir Yuhelmeric. Oh, no, wait. Sir Yuhelmeric got 2 buffs. Okay. I was unaware of the buff at the time we were going through this. It didn't really affect things too much, but it is something to be aware of, especially if you're going through on mine difficulty. Yeah, really not a tough fight. There's a few knockback abilities, there's a big donut AoE, and the adds are going to try and cause problems, and that's about all there is to this fight. And yeah, I was very clearly unaware of the buff that the chirurgeons give. Wish I had known, but it was not a big deal. It really didn't hurt us that much, though it would have been helpful not to buff Sir Yuhelmeric. Alright, there we go. Sir Yuhelmeric falls. And we can move on to the final third of the dungeon. At the very least, that should be all of the zombie soldiers dealt with. The vast majority of them were gathered around Yuhelmeric, so let's hope we've cleared them all out. Ooh, something tore down these doors. Yikes. We've got a... You look like an Elps to me. You're probably related to Elps. And an ice trap. Alright, looks like we're largely outside now. These walls have completely crumbled. Unfortunate, because this blizzard looks brutal. Okay, we've got ice sprites over there, but first, treasure coffer. Bam, already got one. I'm collecting these partially because it's good Grand Company seals and I need those. And I believe Amanda believed she noticed something, but it was just a trick of the mind. Which is why we went back to look at whatever Amanda was looking at. Yeah, I'm largely going for the Grand Company seals from this loot since it's weaker than what we currently have. But also, once I'm done needing Grand Company seals, it'll also make for a pretty good source of desynthesis levels. I want to try and keep that caught up as much as possible. Alright, and destroying those ice sprites, I believe, also raised the temperature in the area since they were no longer artificially lowering it, allowing the ice to melt away and the door to open. So, let's keep killing these, I guess they're hailstorm sprites, and once they're gone, we can move forward. There we go, door opens, but before we go, a couple of muddy zoblins spawn up there. Trying to sneak their way in after us. Alright, take care of them real quick, they weren't too dangerous. And forward we march. Hey, there's that griffin again, and off it goes. And right back outside. We just can't get away. Can't stay even somewhat warm even for half a second. Alright, more hailstorm sprites. And I want to say this will be the last or second to last group of trash. Though, not so much trash on mine difficulty, it seems, with how hard they hit. Ow! I really gotta get in a better habit about my, mitt rotation. It is probably my weakest point, which is it's kind of the most important part of being a tank is using your mitts properly. It's also my weakest part. I'm not great at it, I will admit, and I need to fix that. Give my healers less of a headache. All right, and there's that statue we were looking for, right in the middle of the chapel. Damn, fuck that statue in particular. The griffin's got the thing we're looking for. Alright, Opinicus, time to die. Opinicus is an interesting boss. It's got some mechanics, nothing too difficult, but it does require you to keep an eye on the terrain. Namely, keep an eye on these piles of rubble around the arena because they're going to be very important. Opinicus has 4 main abilities. Alpine Draft, used a little bit ago, is a line AoE targeted at one random player. Freefall is a leaping attack on one random player. Whirling Jail is the main thing to watch out for. When Whirling Jail starts, the winds will start pulling you towards the middle of the arena, so you need to be hiding behind rubble to protect yourself from it. If you're not hiding behind rubble, you'll be sucked into that central maelstrom and you will take damage. Note that the rubble can be destroyed by stray hits from Opinicus, especially Alpine Draft and Freefall. Yeah, there goes that trash over in the back left. Thankfully, once all of the rubble is destroyed, more will fall from the ceiling, so you'll never be completely out of rubble to hide behind. Last ability is Winds of Winter, which is a big AoE attack hitting the entire arena, damaging rubble, and hurting you if you're not hiding behind the rubble. Okay, get behind the Whirling Jail. Ideally, you want as many people behind the same rubble as possible so everyone can be close enough to be doing damage to Opinicus. But the most important thing at all times in every piece of combat in this game is doing the mechanics and surviving. There is no bigger loss of DPS than dying. So if you need to stand far away and use your ranged attacks as a melee DPS, which aren't going to do that much, but they're still going to do something, that's better than dying. Alright, and that is all of Opinicus' mechanics, so let's just finish up the fight. So we can get that jewel and get the heck out of here. Out of this zombie-infested horror show. And with that, we're done. We'll be returning to Past Me live at the scene of the action in just a few moments. So I will see you then. For now, let's grab the loot. I got the orchestrion roll, and let's get out of here. Alright, made it back to the Convictory. As you saw, the item level in for the loot in that dungeon was 120, which is not quite to where we're at. We're at item level 130. I guess, is there weapons? Yeah, weapons actually drop in there, so I might actually go back in to try and get me a weapon for my Dark Knight. Or really just a set of weapons. I think probably Machinist and Astrologian could also use a higher item level weapon too. Plus it would let me start, you know, actually like melding the weapons, which would be nice. Alright then. Loot from that dungeon, other than the item level 120 gear, we also have the Descent Orchestrion roll, which we got. Which is, of course, the dungeon music. There's one other piece of loot, which is the Griffin Triple Triad card. I did not get that. I'll have to go back and grind for it at some point. Probably once I have finished up all the Realm Reborn relic weapons, since that's my current big grind at the moment. I'll go back and get that eventually, and when I get it, you'll see me collect it in a main story video, as I usually do. Alright, Wheeltheow. So, Dusk Vigil. Lots of cannibalism. Can you tell me anything about that? Is that a standard practice in the Holy See? Is cannibalism, like, part of the Fury's teachings? Do you have it, Mr. Slanzi? I do. A large round sapphire named after the icy blue sheen of the Fury's armor. So, but about the cannibalism. Yes, there's no mistaking it. At last it is ours once more. I don't like that. My parents presented the sapphire to me on my wedding day, as my wife and I presented it to Yuhelmeric on his. One day they would do the same for their son. But for that disgrace of an inquisitor, suspicion of heresy, what rot. He knew what he wanted from the start. By the time I secured her release, they had interrogated her for days. She was a shadow of her former self. But the final insult, the final twisting of the knife, was when my son took command of the Dusk Vigil, and found the ice rondel to be the centerpiece of the newly commissioned sculpture of the Fury. He couldn't prove it was the selfsame one which had vanished, but oh, he knew. But no more. It is back with the family where it belongs. It is admittedly hollow comfort, yet in my waning years I must accept what little that can be had. Ooh. Holy shit, there's a lot happening there. Oh dear. With that, next time on Final Fantasy XIV, I do believe it is time to proceed onwards into Dravania to continue our mission to parley with the dragons. Now with Lady Iceheart on our side, kind of. I'll see everyone next time for that!